took one of those seats, and I'm the only Democrat on our county commission board, something I'm very proud of.
Repeat your name for the stream.
My name is Kelly Van Genhoven.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And one thing I can tell you is that through the time that I've been spending crisscrossing the UP and talking to different groups, whether they be indivisible groups, county Dem groups, or just people that I meet in their homes, at libraries, whatever, is that we all have this commonality of wanting the same things. We need accessibility and affordable health care. We need mental health care expansion because we're a mental health care desert, and our behavioral health services are lacking as well. They're really struggling right now. And also, I really am a strong proponent for unions and green energy. And I really think that going clean energy is the way forward. It's the only way forward for our future generations. And if we can get the unions to hop on board with that, we can be innovators here in the UP. And so that's going to be my goal. I also think that over the last 20 years, we have had an isolationism type of government here in the UP where we try and make ourselves so much different from downstate. And what I want to be is more inclusive to downstate, because I feel like downstate is going at about 70 miles an hour and we're putzing along here at 45. We're still making progress, but the more we putz along, the farther behind we're going to get. And so things like our broadband access, yes, are we getting there? Absolutely. Could it be done faster? Absolutely. And so I've made really good connections with state senators already downstate or who are running for offices right now, so that when we win, we can start working immediately and we'll already have those connections made. I think that's really important. I really think that this is a winnable seat. I know that the media over the last 10 years has said that the UP is a Republican stronghold. That is false. We have only been red for the state Senate for the last 16 years. And prior to that, for 45 years, we were strong blue, so I'm ready to flip it back blue again. Yeah, I'm working hard. We're working really hard. And so, you know, we're going to have a lot of events coming up this summer. You're going to see me popping up everywhere. You can follow my social media. I have all of that information on the back of my brochure. I have information on the back table. And I would be happy to answer any questions that you guys have, whether you want to ask me a couple right now or if you want to do a breakout table later. Later? Okay, thank you guys so much. I love being here.
All right, Barb, you're up. I can run the computer if you want. Well, hi everybody. I'm Barb Coleman. I'm the coordinator or one of the underlings in our safety team, and I see many of you here already, and I really, really want you to know how much I appreciate everything you have done and are doing and are going to do on Saturday. We have recruited 20 for our safety team on Saturday, and it's going to take that in order to spread out along Washington Street as far as we hope we are going to be. I was asked today to repeat basically the training for everyone on de-escalation. We do have everyone on the safety team view this video. I've had them cue it up past the fluff at the beginning of it. So if you're watching it online, there's a lot of fluff at the beginning, and you don't have to watch every time. But getting up to, you know, handling agitators, let's just go ahead and watch it, and then I'll make some comments afterwards.
And welcome everyone. My name is Christian, he, him pronouns. I'm a field organizer with Move On, and I'm going to touch on some of the tips and strategies for de-escalation. But first, I just want to level set before we dive in here that all of our events are intended to be peaceful and welcome to all. And what does that mean? It means you could bring your dog. It means you could bring your children. You know, we are hosting an incredible community event that we want people to feel safe at. And the number one thing too, along with that, is most people that are coming to our events, they are participants that are law-abiding and peace-seeking as well. But occasionally, some people we may encounter are there to disrupt our events. So that may or may not happen, but we're going to be prepared for it. And that's why we're all here today. So let's look at how to identify and handle agitators. So there's 4 examples we have here. So for the first one, we have the heckler. someone that's throwing insults, name calling, or possibly filming you or members of your group. That's how you would see them and spot them. And the number one thing you want to do with that type of behavior is ignore it. Don't engage with it. Step away. Number one thing there. You never want to engage with someone who is like in a high emotional amount of tension, because then you're just creating this feedback loop where it just gets worse. So the number one thing you should do is step away. And in addition to that, you could help lead people around you to drown out their messages with songs and chants, so that to make essentially what they're doing meaningless, right? And then in addition to all that, you want to make sure to alert your event organizer or safety lead about what's going on, because potentially that heckler could do more, get worse, or whatever. So you want to make sure that they know what's going on. And for the second category we have here, we have someone that's acting suspiciously, which could be a number of different things, right? So the way you would spot them is essentially it could be someone that's unfamiliar to most people at the event. They're avoiding chants, or they're doing stuff that no one else is doing. And they're asking odd questions. So one of the conclusions could be this is a person that's from a different group. It's infiltrating your event. Could be there for a multitude of different reasons, to get some audio recordings or video recordings and have a gotcha moment, to basically misrepresent the meaning of our event. So that's a possibility, but what we want to do is, of course, spot those people out right away, step away, alert the event organizer and safety lead, and determine if this person is acting suspiciously, and of course record if it's safe. So that's the second type of person we may encounter. And then additionally, we have people that are instigators. People that are there that are a step above the heckler, someone who is recklessly urging on disruption or potentially even physical aggression. So that's where we, basically, again, avoid escalation. We stay calm in that moment, don't engage, and step away. So we want to alert the event organizer or safety lead, just to be, again, in constant communication with law enforcement if there does become an issue. We want to make sure it doesn't get to that point. And then the last topic we have here for this is the counter-protesters. Those people are very easy to spot. They're doing essentially the same thing we're doing, just on the opposite side. We may encounter them or not, but the important thing to know is that we stay away from them. If there's a group of counter-protesters and we have an event going on, we don't want to clash with them. So the best thing you can do is ignore, step away, create boundaries between those two events, which should be separate, and move if necessary. And then again, you could also get the crowd to drown out their message with song and chants, because guess what? If you're doing the event and there's a group of counter-protesters, usually it's not as big as the original event, so you can usually drown them out. And then of course, alert the event organizer or safety lead to make sure that everyone knows that the boundaries and where everyone's at. And that's pretty much it for this slide, so let's move on to the next one here. And we have a video here regarding situational awareness and de-escalation. And we're about to show that here in a second, while she's about to.
I just want to mention that, when people have viewed this part before, there are a number of examples where they show it talking to a child. It still applies, as we know. many adults act like children, and the principles do apply. In fact, I will say, how many people here are parents or grandparents? You already know how to de-escalate. You know how much better it is to try to calm things down in one way or the other. The problem we have is that we can't take our counter-protesters and put them in a timeout. So you just have to use other methods.
We share the slide there. This is a video from Dartmouth Trauma Research, and it's really mainly about conflict resolution, but it does include some aspects of de-escalation strategies. Just remember, our main goal here today is to learn how to stay calm in high tense situations, and to be able to avoid escalation, and to be able to identify these types of situations. So let's go ahead and play that video here.
Hi there. This brief video is going to describe simple calming and de-escalation strategies. When people are escalated, it often comes from a sense of threat or fear. Even if the threat is not real at the time, their past experiences with people and the world may have wired their brains to expect harm or danger. When we as humans perceive threat or are otherwise incredibly stressed or angry or scared, we activate our survival brain. This more primitive part of our brain has only one job: to keep us safe. It doesn't care about reason or logic. In fact, the thinking parts of our brain turn off and we act mostly on instincts. These instincts include reading nonverbal cues from our environment. Those nonverbal cues are actually more important than verbal cues or what people say to us. So when people are escalated, at their core, they want control. We give them control over their own safety and decisions. Do not block people, corner them, or block entrances or possible escape routes. As soon as you do, they want to fight or flee even more. Give 2 arms length distance. Keep our body posture open so it does not appear that you are hiding anything. Keep your body posture as relaxed as you can, even if it's hard. A looming, towering figure only sends the message that you want to dominate. So if it feels okay to do so, ask them what would make them feel safe or feel better. Put the control back on their turf. Ask what would help. Ask what could happen next. One of the most famous practices and sayings for de-escalation is low and slow, from Teresa Bullock. Low and slow refers to both your body movements and your voice or speech. Just like it sounds, we want to keep the tone of our voice low and the speed of our voice slow. When you lower your tone and speed, it makes it more possible for the other person to process what you are saying and not feel threatened, as opposed to a higher pitched tone and quick speech, which frankly increases stress. Then we also try to lower and slow down our body movements and posture. So try to sit in a chair or on the floor, especially if you were children, and especially if the person who's escalated is lower down than you. Maybe they're on the floor or in a chair. If you get on an even playing field, this gives the nonverbal cue that you mean no threat. And try to slow down your body movements so as to not further alarm their cues for danger. Move slowly, walk slowly, keep your hands out and open where they can see them. Next, use the tip, name it to tame it, made popular by Dan Siegel. By naming emotions, we gain control over them. Therapists have known this forever. Acknowledge that they may be feeling anxious, angry, especially if it's a child. Stay with that feeling, validate it. Let them know the feeling is okay, as long as they stay safe. We also like to say, regulate over educate. When people are in distress, it's not the time to teach or educate or think back about what they could have done differently. The only goal is to regulate their emotions. Usually this is done by giving space and time, staying calm, and helping provide a calming atmosphere. It takes the body 20 to 30 minutes to come back down to baseline after a perceived or an actual threat. Just think of your own situations when something really scared you or startled you. Even if you look like you're getting back to normal, your body is still pumping all those stress hormones for a while. So wait it out. Just help people regulate. If the person was aggressive or destructive, especially if it's a child, there does of course need to be a consequence. But wait on talking about the consequence. Finally, 2 of the most important things you can do all along the way, and best before people get too distressed, or even while they're distressed, is to validate their feelings and be empathic. I see you are struggling. I see this is hard. If it's okay, I'll stay here with you until you feel better.
All right, and that's the end of the video there. A lot of good tips. And now let's head back into the presentation. And just give it 1 second here. All right, and so now we have a couple other de-escalation techniques, and a lot of this is just a conglomeration of what you saw in the video too. Also too, there's been this question in the chat. Noticed we are going to be able to have a recording of this to share to everyone as well. Just so anyone's curious about that, this is going to be shared, and you'll be able to share it to other people at your event as well. But back to some of these techniques now. So regarding de-escalation techniques, the number 1 important thing that they mentioned in that video is to stay calm and use a neutral tone. That's the most important thing you need to know. If someone's really at a high level of emotional tension, the only way to bring them down is to essentially act calm. And if you meet that, it's just going to create a feedback loop like I mentioned before. There's no point in engaging in that conversation that they aren't even listening attentively to. So that's the number 1 thing there, is to stay calm and use a neutral tone. Number 2 is to redirect focus. If someone is disrupting the event and is being an agitator, they are garnering the focus and spotlight and stage in some level. So we want to make sure that they don't get that focus. So the number one way you can do to drown them out is, again, what we mentioned before was leading in chants or songs to be able to make sure that no one can hear them and what they're doing. And then in addition to that too, we could also move the event slightly over, and so again, establishing kind of what the fourth point here is, setting boundaries. And then along with staying calm and using a neutral tone, the video also mentioned using non-threatening body language. And what that specifically looks like is having your hands visible to the other person, essentially not being too quick with your movements, and also, of course, having a relaxed, open body posture. All these things tell the other person that you're not a threat, that you're relaxed, you're calm, and that they should be calm too. That's kind of the solution you want them to come to. And then in addition to all of that, you want to be able to set boundaries if you're able to. Of course, we recommended that you remove yourself from the situation, you don't engage with them, but this may be something for the safety captain or the event lead. If you've tried everything with a person who's agitating and disrupting your event, a safety lead may approach the person and say, we are here peacefully, we are just exercising our First Amendment right. Thank you so much for your opinion here, but we need space and our time to do this. We appreciate it, thank you. And then essentially send them on their way, and you've set boundaries as a group and as an event leader. And on some levels, that's where it can be escalated to law enforcement or something if it gets worse, right? You've already communicated that to them, number one. And number two, if setting physical boundaries, like I mentioned before, if the events of a counter-protest event is happening and they're getting really close, make sure to communicate that to the rest of your group. Hey, we should probably move over a little bit so they don't get so close to us. That's another tip there. And then the last important thing that is not always obvious is to make sure to record what's happening. And that includes really any tense moment that could happen, whether it's with law enforcement, whether it's with other participants, or with people that are agitating, because we forget things that happen. And we have a permanent record of what happens if we record it with our phones. So that's going to be a big tip. And then the most important thing at the end of the day is to just don't engage. It's not worth it. Because ultimately, people that we're talking to at these events that are not with our movement, they are not listening to anything we're saying. It's going one in ear, out the other. So I'm going to recommend to everyone here that we use our time, our energy, our words, our voice to have our voices heard for the event we are hosting for April 5th, because we are there to protect Medicaid, to protect Social Security, to stop Elon Musk. That is who we are trying to communicate to, not to these bad actors or bad communicators that may show up at our event. So that's all I have to say here. Thank you all for coming, and I'm going to pass it over back to Bakir.
Thank you so much, Christian.
Okay, obviously not April 5th, but not much is different now. Actually, what's different is worse. But we do have our event this Saturday. Now, much of this was about de-escalation, which is basically the job of the safety team. That is when not engaging doesn't work. But do not engage is probably the most important statement that any of you can listen to and enact. We put it on it's the first thing on our badges for the safety team. The agitators, the escalators, the counter-protesters, they're looking for a reaction. Don't give it to them. Don't yell back. Don't try to get in their face. Just ignore them. That is the first line of defense. Now, we have seen all of those categories of people throughout our events thus far, and we've had to use numerous techniques to deal with them, including the chanting that was used in the 4th of July parade when people were saying things that were pretty yucky, and our group of people just let forth with what USA, USA, and well, there was another chant too, I can't remember what it was. But they prevailed, basically, because there were so many of them to drown it out. So if those of you that are going to just be attending the event, first and foremost, do not engage. If by any chance you feel threatened, your safety team wants to know right away, and unfortunately, fortunately, whatever your stance is, this is an open carry community. So it's not like you're in a school, if you saw somebody with a gun, you would call the police, you would scream, you would get people out of there. We can't really do that just because you see a gun. However, and I have communicated regularly with the police, and they say, which is what you should do, if you are being threatened, if the person with the gun has their hand on it, or if they're making statements about what they're going to do with their gun or something, we will call the police immediately. Okay? And if you see it and you can't get a hold of one of us, or you don't even have to wait to get a hold of us, if you see that, call 911. Tell them where you are and what you're seeing. They will come and confront. That is very important. Be aware that at Northern, if you happen to be at Northern for any reason, guns are not allowed anywhere at Northern. They are allowed to have their own policy. So that's a different situation, which is very important that we know what the different situations are. For instance, we know that the sidewalks are a public space. We have a right to stand there and do our protest. So do counter-protesters. So you can't tell people they can't be on the sidewalk just because they're saying something that you don't agree with. We've had pretty darn good luck with that. We've kind of overwhelmed and taken over them, but we have to leave space on the sidewalk for people to get through as well. So those are the duties of the protesters as well. Are there any questions? Okay, this link will be available in the notes. Yep. The only thing is, remember, he talks about some interactive things. Well, it's not going to interact because it's a video. Yes?
This Saturday is going to be a little bit more spread out, right?
Yes, we're going west as far as we can go, from starting at the post office.
Is there a location that people should keep in mind to direct, or keep in mind of where security will definitely be?
I am putting a safety team, a team, right now I can put a pair on either side every block. Okay, if the line goes further west, hopefully to Negaunee, the safety team will spread out accordingly, but I want safety team available all we have, and we'll spread out where we have it, just so we don't block people, we don't block entrances or exits to businesses or driveways. Everybody, we need everybody's help with that. We had hoped to have a whole team just to do that part, but really our protesters, we're going to have to spread that word. Just do not block an entrance or an exit or a driveway. Okay? Oh, go ahead. Oh, the ACLU did last night I participated in the training that they did, a webinar, and it was really very good. And Paula found basically the website that has the information from that training. I'm hoping that they will also have the video available, and if so, I'll make sure you get the link to that. But as a participant in a protest, you can look at this about your rights, and you have many, many rights as a citizen of this country. However, our problem, as we have seen, is that those rights are being violated on a daily basis. So sometimes you have to really make the judgment, is it worth asserting your rights and getting dragged off, probably not seen for months? Just understand that it's you stay legal. You don't attack the officer, the ICE officer, anyone like that. Don't be violent. Don't refuse an order from, for instance, a police entity. They could tell us to just clear this whole area, and we would do that. One of the safety team might say, well, why, sir? But don't try to confront when that's going on. You really need to protect yourself as well. But the ACLU site has got really good information for you. I would strongly advise you to look at that.
I think probably every one of us here has been given one of those whistles. I take it we don't want to use those under any circumstances on
Since we don't have a clear, the whistle idea originally was if you saw ice. If that happens and you want to use your whistle, then we would certainly convey that information. That would be something to do, and then we could make sure that that information is passed on down the line. There may be people there that want to disappear. That is one thing that some people need to do. You, as a participant in the protest, definitely for safety reasons want to have a plan for how you would get away from the area if we need to evacuate. So think of that too, especially like where's your car, how are you going to get to it and get away. But yeah, the whistles were meant to be about identifying, letting everybody know that ICE is present. It's not to let any people know that the police have arrived or that you want to make noise. So that has gotten really mixed up. So I would suggest that stick with the ICE thing. Anyone else? Anything? Yes, sir. Oh, were you scratching your nose? Oh, okay. Okay. I can deal with that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey guys, Tina Taylor. I'm co-chairing, I guess, the Saturday No Kings 3 event, and I just wanted to make a couple of points. First of all, while we do deal with very real and very serious and heavy consequences sometimes, we are looking to have an uplifting, joyous occasion on Saturday. We want to celebrate our country. We want, if you would like people, to come in costume or bring simple music, bring a sense of pride in the United States. Certainly we are there to make our voices heard, to stand against fascism and the MAGA movement, but we also want to make sure that we're representing the United States of America that we all know and believe in, which is founded on love and community too. So I just wanted to make sure that we kept that in mind. I am still looking for volunteers to help us on Saturday. Barb's safety team will be wearing the orange safety vests, but I need yellow safety vest people. Then my goal for that is that you would walk up and down, help us maybe collect donations. We have some business cards for LSRI we need to be handing out so that new people have a way to contact us after the event. They know how to engage and plug into the systems that we're creating. I also am hoping that I can get volunteers to wear the yellow vests that would be just crossing guards, for a lack of a better word. We want people to stay out of the streets. So while Barb definitely talked about staying out from in front of businesses and driveways, we also don't want people on those cross streets. You have to be on a sidewalk, not in a road. So if you are interested in putting on a yellow safety vest that isn't the official safety team, you can call it the crossing guard team, I guess. Please let me know, or I am planning on meeting at the Food Co-op East parking lot I will probably be there by 9:30 a.m. That is going to be where the food donation truck is located, in that little east parking lot. That's the one closest to the water. The food collection truck will be there, and I will be there for a goodly amount of time prior to the protest. So that's where I'll be with my yellow vests and things to hand out. If you would like to come and meet me there, that'd be great. Today at the back of the thing, or maybe on the table, there's a lot of the little quarter sheet flyers. Please take as many as you can. We don't have another occasion to pass them out other than today. So we'd like them to all go away today and spread them out throughout the communities, be posting online. The biggest thing you can do for the movement is to recruit other people to participate. You know, I'm going to this event on Saturday, I can only go for an hour, will you come with me? Or there's this event on Saturday, it's for 2 hours, you can stop by for however long you can fit in. But encourage people to take the time to come. As we have discussed on a number of occasions, this is not an event where there's going to be like a rally and people speaking and things like that. It's just a visibility event. Bring a sign if you'd like to, wear a costume, all the things. Show up along Washington Street in the sector that you would normally go to see the 4th of July parade. So anywhere along that strip, except for I am asking you to not stand in front of the newly rented space for the Republican Party, which I believe is 2 doors down maybe from Little Caesars. They've rented a little storefront there, and there's just no reason for us to antagonize people, so just don't stand in front of them. You know, go somewhere else. There's a lot of space. And again, remember that everybody has a right to be on the public sidewalk, so the non-engagement issue, you know, make sure that you're following those rules. And in that light, I want to again say that LSRI's founding fundamental principles do tell us that even though it might be within our legal rights to bear arms in our community, we ask that you do not bring weapons if you are a protest participant. That we are there to be peaceful and represent that peaceful message. And whether you're a Second Amendment believer or not, which I very much am, it is not the time that I'm going to bring a weapon with me. So just wanted to make those requests, and Barb has something else she wants to contribute.
Remind us about the time.
10:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. From the post office on Washington Street west, not the other way, not downtown, but west. On a party note, Brian Wallen of Make Believe Spurs is going to be there. It may be too cold to have an instrument, but he promises to sing the songs of our hearts, to sing the songs of John Prine and Pete Seeger and Peter, Paul and Mary and Arlo Guthrie and Woody Guthrie and Brian Wallen. If you have not heard him, you better be there just to do that, but he's going to go up, and he's recruiting his musician friends too. But again, it may not be instrument tame, but their instruments are their voices, and it will be wonderful. And sing along with them.
Hi, I'm Liz Elsa Clark.
Elsa Clement.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For a long time.
I think you're voting. Some people that are participating might be a little anxious, and so we're providing them with some visual aids.
My grandkids had spares, so you might look less intimidating to someone, so they're just there. Just grab them if you think you know, it might be nice to be viewed as mellow. So anyway, there's some on the table.
Or bring your own.
Yeah.
So I'm going to speak about the petitions. We are currently down to only one petition. It's the mop-up. It's the Get Money Out of Politics. It has, again, extended its deadline to May 15th, which really is the beginning of May because they have to collect everything, which means anyone that signed in August, September, or October, those signatures are gone. So we are really pushing to get signatures. If someone is not exactly sure when they signed, you know, did you sign before Halloween? So we lost No Kings signatures in October. We lost our Beer Fest signatures. We just we're telling people, please sign. Even if you've signed, if you're not quite sure, Mop-Up will go through it and they will figure out if it's a double signature or not. That being said, I am working with Deb if anyone else wants to help us, we will be collecting signatures at this No Kings event. Please send people down toward Harlow Park, because that's where we will be set up. So just keep on sending, say, you know, when you're walking around or talking to people, hey, have you signed the mop-up petition? Go down and get your signature. I just gave all of my extras away, but I'm sure next week I'll have some more. Oh, look at Zeke has some. So if you're interested in helping do that and get more signatures, we have some for you. Bob Anderson also wanted to share, he just wrote a letter to the editor. He's hoping they'll print it. He submitted it today. And it's, so you can watch for it. It's called Christian Nationalism and the War in Iran. I also have he gave me a copy if you're interested in. So anything else from LSRI? Are we good? Oh, April 6th. You can talk about that.
Hi, my name is Tina Taylor. I'm teasing you. LSRI is having another all-member meeting on April 6th. We will be meeting at Peter Waite Public Library from 6 to 8. It is our intention to have a social gathering, potluck. I'm definitely looking for some people to help me organize that potluck benefit, or it's not a benefit, but just the social event. The topic of that meeting, the structure of it has yet to be determined. We'll obviously be debriefing No Kings, but there's some probably conversation about what we're ongoing, all of our subcommittees are doing. We're talking about maybe having some conversations about election security and a few other things that would be potential actionable items. But mostly we're looking to have a social opportunity for people to kind of get together and make a plan about how we want to approach the nice weather events that will be coming up, since we've been limited in what we can do during the winter time. Anything else?
Do we want to talk about were you there? Does someone want to talk about the forum?
The candidate forum, LSRI was part of the group that put on the candidate forum last Saturday. We had 4 of the candidates attend at Northern, 1 Republican and 2 Democrats and 1 independent candidate came and spoke. Gigi Gordon was our moderator. She did an excellent job. NMU did record that, and as soon as they release the video footage to LSRI, we will post it. Yeah, Zeke?
It's on the site now.
Oh, apparently the recording of it is up and on the LSRA website now. So you can go back and watch it. There were 15 specific questions asked. This was the 7th in a series of 11 candidate forums put on throughout the 1st district. Did you guys have any idea how big the 1st district is? It goes all the way downstate. Like, I was like, what? So it's a really big district, and they have a lot of ground to cover. So 11 different indivisible groups are hosting these forums, and this was the 7th. The candidates told us that this particular event was the best attended event so far, which I'm super proud of, the UP. So we had about 130 people there. It was very well attended, and people were very respectful. And after the event was over, there were several social places to go that we could socialize with the candidates. LSRI hosted one, and somebody else must have been hosting one that a couple of the other candidates, a couple went here and a couple went there. So there were plenty of opportunities to talk personally with the candidates. And it went really great.
Where on the website?
It's on the event page for the candidate forum, and I'll talk to Brad and others. We'll probably put it on the front page too, just to make it easy to get to.
So it's on events?
So the discussion happening behind the microphone is that if you go to the LSRA website and go to the events page,
The calendar on the homepage has a link to the past event.
calendar on the homepage has a link to the past events. And we are going to work on getting a link on the front page, that the steering committee is going to approve. So,
We haven't officially announced it yet, that's all.
okay. So it'll get there, but, if you're wanting to watch it yourself, those are some of the upcoming ways of being able to navigate that. I did take notes because that's who I am, so if you want my take on what the questions were and how all the candidates answered, I can talk to you about that too. So April 6th from 6 to 8 at Peter White Public Library, and I'm looking for people to input potluck help.
Do we have numbers on Visibility Brigade? 10 in Marquette? Do we know how Ishpring was? Okay. And that is every week now? Yep, every week. Is there anything else?
My library thing.
Oh, your library thing, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Howdy. So, Tori, a lot of you know me already, and I'm so happy to see so many faces return. Right now, the Negaunee Public Library is looking for donations for toys, for free play, for the age group around toddlers, very young kids. So if you have any gently used toys that would kind of fit under that category and are comfortable with Negaunee Library potentially donating to Goodwill anything that doesn't fit their needs, I will be collecting them next week. Or you can just go to the Negaunee Public Library between now and next week. So again, that's free play toys, which is sort of like imaginative play. An example of a dream item is like a little pretend kitchen, but anything that allows imaginative play for age ranges about toddler to really early elementary would be very helpful. They have enough puzzles. That was the only thing I remember being told. We have enough puzzles. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Ruby Miller. I use she, her pronouns, and most of you know me already. I'm an organizer with We the People Michigan here in the UP. And I guess I'm going to say about these. These are sheets of vinyl that they print signs on, and this is the scrap. And a friend sent them with me, thinking people might want to use them for No Kings as like nice signs that you can roll up and stuff. So that's just a material to share. Yeah, I'll set them over here. Like, yeah, for anybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. A friend handed me this pile of scrap vinyl to I haven't tried marking on them yet. I think Sharpie would probably work just fine. Yeah, tape, yep. But I did want to update, so weekend before last, 8 of us from here attended, well, in person and over Zoom, attended We the People's Power Camp down in Kalamazoo. And we learned a lot about each other, and a lot about building power, and we worked on strategies that connect what our own personal interest is and the needs of our community with the statewide coordinated effort that We the People is pulling together with the larger effort to pivot away from the rise of totalitarian power and the consolidation of that power that the MAGA regime is intent on. So there'll be more coming for that, but then we had to figure out how to get home through the mega blizzard. So Caitlin has been spearheading an effort to limit DHS and ICE activity in our county. And Donovan's begun spearheading, directing what were prior understood to be leftover ARPA funds to the tune of $5 million that the county had to decide what to do with, has now been clarifyingly renamed as a reserve for special appropriations. It's still $5 million. and Donovan's been spearheading an effort to get them to use that $5 million for stuff that actually impacts the community and maybe not air conditioning in the courthouse. So I understand the courthouse has needs too, but you know, I think a little priority of the things we need to live here is in order. And yeah, so I just kind of wanted to update on that because I was just really proud of all the efforts in the community. You know, everybody's working so hard on this, and it's cool to be coming up on another No Kings event. So I just wanted to share what me and my team have been up to, and I'm really proud of the way they showed up and worked so hard too. So yeah, thanks everybody, glad to be here.
So next week, we do have, Joanne has asked Blair to come and talk about how the Ukraine movie that they're working on is going. So from my understanding, that is a go next week. I will follow up with Dave Van Horn about having him come. If there's any other ideas of people you would like to hear from or topics you would like, please let us know. And we'll get them on the agenda. Breakout tables? Kelly. Kelly's here. Is there any other need for breakout tables?
I'll be here if you want to talk about bringing snacks next week, or food for April 6th, or help me on Saturday with the crossing guard people.
So Tina has 3 tables at 1.
Let me take the potluck table because I'm the one making the sheet for that, and that'll be one less thing for y'all. So if you have something for the potluck on April 6th for LSRI's meeting, come to me instead. Come to me. She doesn't need 3 tables.
Yep. And I just started a very basic, like just on a piece of paper. If you want to bring something next week for this, I think soup, salads, and bread tend to be a really good, easy kind of potluck. So we can do that. And Donovan just walked in. I did see that well, we're also cheering because Donovan, I read your note that reserved for special appropriations, the ARPA allocation vote at the county commission has been tabled for further consideration. Yes. So, if there's anything else, or are we going to just leave it at that? If
you want to know more, I'll be somewhere.
Donovan will have a breakout table now that I put him on the spot.
It's murky.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about food, I just wanted to point out, I love Penzie's Spice Company, and every time they have any kind of deal or sale, I always get too much. So I want to share with you, not only did they have a sample thing that, you know, yeah, I bought that, but the other, it just help yourself. I've got spare spices I don't need, and they're really good, so please help yourself over there.
Good night, Marquette. Really makes me. There we go.